The black sedan with tinted windows purred to a stop outside Maya's sweet creations in the heart of the city, and Maya felt the familiar rhythm of her morning shatter. Through the large display window, she watched two imposing men in tailored suits exit the vehicle, scanning the quiet street with practiced indifference. Her breath hitched, her hands freezing mid-wipe on the glass counter. But it was the man who emerged last who stole the air from the room. Silas. For long years since he'd vanished from her life, leaving behind only a note of empty excuses and a hollow ache that had taken root in her soul. The man who had promised her forever, who had whispered love in the dark, only to disappear when his family's legacy called. And now he stood on her sidewalk, looking more formidable, more untouchably powerful than the young heir she'd fallen for. His Italian heritage was etched in the sharp lines of his face, the command in his posture. What Silas didn't know, what would detonate the careful order of his world in the next 60 seconds, was that he had a daughter. A 3-year-old girl with his exact, startling blue eyes and her mother's dark, beautiful curls, currently singing to herself in the office, utterly unaware her father had just walked back into their lives. "We open at 10, Maya said, her voice betraying a tremor she loathed. She refused to look up from the espresso machine she wasn't actually using. Maya. That voice. It hadn't changed. Deep, controlled, yet carrying a timbre that still resonated in her dreams. It held a ghost of the warmth she remembered, now buried under layers of ice and authority. She made herself meet his gaze. Those piercing blue eyes, which had once looked at her as if she hung the moon, now assessed her with an intensity that felt more like an interrogation. "You need to leave, Silas. You're not welcome here." He stepped inside, the bell above the door chiming a cheerful note that felt obscene. His men positioned themselves at the entrance, a silent, intimidating blockade. He looked older, harder. The years had honed him, carving a grim set to his mouth and shadows beneath his eyes that spoke of sleepless nights and terrible decisions. But his presence, the sheer force of it, still dominated the small bakery, making the space feel claustrophobic. "We need to talk. We needed to talk 4 years ago. When I was crying and calling a number that was suddenly disconnected. When I was standing on your family's doorstep, being turned away by your father's security. You made your choice then. It's a little late for conversation." Before he could form a reply, a bright, chirping voice cut through the thick tension. "Mama, I can't reach the glitter glue." Maya's entire world narrowed to the sound of her daughter's voice. Her blood seemed to crystallize in her veins. Silas's head snapped toward the sound. His cool composure fractured, his eyes widening with a shock so profound it was almost boyish. You have a child." It wasn't a question. It was a stunned realization that drained the color from his face. The office door swung open and 3-year-old Lena bounded out, a whirlwind of energy in a flour-dusted apron. Her dark, springy curls were tied in 2 puffs, and she clutched a vibrant, messy drawing. She had Maya's warm brown skin, her full lips, her joyful smile. But those eyes, those unmistakable, vivid blue eyes that held a seriousness beyond her years, were a mirror of the man standing frozen in the middle of the room. The leather folder Silas was holding slipped from his fingers and hit the tiled floor with a slap. He didn't seem to notice. "Oh my God," he breathed, the words barely audible. Maya moved on instinct, sweeping Lena into her arms, creating a physical barrier between her daughter and the man who was her father. "Back to your craft station, sweet pea. Mama's with a customer." "But I need the purple glitter for the princess crown," Lena protested, her little brow furrowed, unaware of the seismic shift happening around her. "In 1 minute, baby. Please." Maya's voice was strained. As Lena, with a dramatic sigh, shuffled back into the office, Silas looked as if he'd been gut-punched. "How old is she?" His voice was rough. "Don't. How old, Maya?" The command was back, edged with desperation. "She turned 3 in April. You do the math." Silas took an unsteady step backward, bumping into a small bistro table. One of his men moved as if to steady him, but a sharp gesture from Silas stopped him. He ran a hand through his dark hair, a gesture of agitation she remembered well. "Why didn't you tell me?" The question, so simple, so utterly infuriating, broke the dam inside her. "Tell you?" The laugh that escaped her was hollow, brittle. "I tried, Silas. I called you 23 times. The 24th time, the number was dead. I went to the Bianchi estate. Your father, Vittorio, met me at the gate himself. He told me you were done with me, that I was a distraction you'd outgrown. When I refused to leave, when I told him I was pregnant, he had his security physically escort me off the property. I was 8 weeks along, Silas. They threw me out onto the street like yesterday's trash." "I didn't know," he repeated, his face ashen. "You didn't want to know. There is a monumental difference. You chose to believe whatever lie was easiest for you and your precious family legacy." His jaw tightened, a muscle ticking. "My father told me you took the settlement money and went back to Chicago. He showed me a bank receipt. He said you wanted a clean break, that you'd moved on. And I was in no position to argue. My uncle had just been assassinated. The family business was in chaos. There were rival factions, internal betrayals, hits being ordered every other day. I was fighting just to stay alive and secure my position. My father was the only anchor I had left. I trusted him. Your trust left me alone, pregnant, and terrified in a city where I knew no one." The tears she'd been fighting finally spilled over, hot and furious. "Your trust forced me to build a life from absolute nothing. So don't you dare stand there and tell me you didn't know." "Let me fix it," he said, taking a step forward, his voice urgent. "Let me be there for her. For both of you. I have resources, protection. Now you want to play father?" she hissed, cutting him off. "Now, when she's already 3. When you missed her first breath, her first step, her first word. When you missed every scraped knee, every nightmare, every birthday. You don't get to swoop in and claim her now that it's convenient." Before he could respond, his phone vibrated with a specific, insistent pattern. He pulled it out, glanced at the screen, and his expression shut down, transforming from one of raw emotion to one of cold, impenetrable stone. "I have to go. This isn't a discussion we're finished having, Maya. That is my daughter." He stated it as an immutable fact. "And I am not walking away again. You don't get to make that choice anymore. You forfeited that right." At the door, he turned. The intensity of his gaze pinned her in place. "I will be back. And Maya, I never stopped loving you. Not for a single day." Then he was gone, the sedan pulling away from the curb with a quiet purr, leaving Maya trembling, her knees weak. Behind her, Lena peeked around the office doorframe, her big blue eyes filled with curiosity. "Who was that man, Mama?" He looked sad. The next morning, the bakery phone rang. The caller ID was blocked. With a sense of dread, Maya answered. "Ms. Carter? This is Mr. Abbott from the Bianchi Family Holdings. Mr. Silas Bianchi has requested an urgent meeting to discuss matters pertaining to his child. He is prepared to be generous." Maya's grip on the receiver turned white-knuckled. "Tell Mr. Bianchi that any and all communication regarding my daughter will go through my attorney. Is that clear? Ms. Carter, please be reasonable. Mr. Bianchi is prepared to offer substantial support, a trust fund, the best schools." "My daughter has a name," Maya interrupted, her voice shaking with rage. "It's Lena, and she doesn't need his blood money." She slammed the phone down, her whole body quaking. She'd worked 2 jobs while heavily pregnant, taken business courses online at night, and poured every ounce of her soul into transforming a dilapidated storefront into this thriving, warm bakery that was the heart of her neighborhood. She'd done it alone. She'd be damned if Silas Bianchi thought he could purchase a place in their lives now. But the universe, it seemed, had a different script. That afternoon, a long, sleek town car, even more imposing than the sedan, glided to a stop. This time, it wasn't Silas who emerged. It was an older man, his silver hair perfectly styled, his suit costing more than Maya's monthly rent. Vittorio Bianchi, Silas's father, the man who had orchestrated her ruin. The air in the bakery grew thick as he entered, his cold eyes sweeping over the homey space with unveiled contempt. "So," he said, his voice like polished marble, "the rumors are true. You did manage to produce a child. Get out of my bakery. This is what you've built with your ambition." He flicked a dismissive hand. "How quaint. I offered you a significant sum to disappear 4 years ago. A smarter woman would have taken it. You offered me a bribe to abandon the man I loved. I threw a check in your face, and you had me thrown out like garbage." A thin, cruel smile touched his lips. "And yet here you remain. A persistent problem. I'll be clearer this time. That child, if she is even my son's, will never be acknowledged by this family. She is a bastard, of mixed blood, a complication. My son is destined to lead one of the most powerful organizations on the Eastern Seaboard. He does not have the luxury of sentiment. He will do his duty to his family, his bloodline. You are a fleeting distraction. Accept a new settlement and leave the city." "We are not leaving. And Lena is his daughter. You can't change that with your money or your threats." Vittorio leaned in, his voice dropping to a venomous whisper. "I had you removed once. I can do it again more permanently. Stay away from my son, or you will discover precisely how fragile your little world here really is." He turned and left, the scent of expensive cologne and cold malice lingering behind him. Shaking with a volatile mix of fury and fear, Maya called her Rock, her best friend since college, Keisha. "He came here, Kesh. Vittorio. He threatened me, threatened Lena." "That old monster," Keisha spat. "What did you say?" "I told him to leave." "But Keisha, what if he's right? What if Silas, even if he wants to, can't actually choose us? The weight of that family. Don't you let that man's poison into your heart. You are the strongest person I know. But what about Lena? Doesn't she deserve a chance to know her father?" It was the question that haunted Maya's sleepless nights. That evening, as she was locking the bakery's wrought iron security gate, Silas materialized from the shadows of the adjacent alley, alone. "Your father paid me a visit today," she said flatly, not turning around. She heard him go still. "What did he say?" "The same things he said 4 years ago. That I'm beneath you. That Lena will never be accepted. That you will inevitably choose your duty over us." "He's wrong." "Is he?" Maya finally faced him, crossing her arms over her chest. "Because 4 years ago, he showed you a piece of paper and you chose to believe him over me. Over us. How do I know that won't happen again when the pressure really mounts?" Frustration etched his features. "I was a different man then. I was drowning, Maya. My uncle was dead, the family was at war with itself, and my father was the only compass I had left. Now I know that compass was pointing straight into a lie. Now I know I have a daughter I've never held. Now I know the woman I've loved every single day since I met her thinks I discarded her without a thought." His voice broke on the last word. "Please, let me try to make this right." "How, Silas? You can't give back those years. You can't undo what was done." "I know that, but I can be here now. I can be the father she deserves. I can protect you both." "We don't need your protection. I've kept us safe." "Have you?" The question was quiet, deadly serious. He pulled out his phone, tapped the screen, and held it out to her. Her blood ran cold. The screen showed a series of photographs. Lena, playing in the small park down the street. Lena, holding Maya's hand as they walked to the bakery yesterday. Lena, napping in her stroller. All taken from a distance with a long lens. "What is this?" she whispered, horror dawning. "My father has had you under surveillance since the moment I left here yesterday. He's building a case, Maya. Looking for any scrap of evidence that you're an unfit mother. He's searching for ways to have Lena removed from your custody and have you declared an undesirable, pushed out of the state entirely." "He can't do that," she said, but the words sounded weak, terrified. "He can try. And he has the resources, the connections, the judges in his pocket to make a very convincing attempt. In a custody dispute between a powerful, wealthy, connected white family and a single black mother running a small business, The odds are not in your favor. Custody. The word was a knife to her heart. Silas, you just found out about her. I am not the one making the threat, he said swiftly, gripping her arms. I would never try to take her from you, but my father will, and he'll use my biological paternity as the legal wedge to do it. The only way to shield her, to shield you, is for us to present a united, immovable front. What does that even mean? He took a deep, steadying breath, his gaze locked on hers. Marry me. Maya stared, certain the stress had finally short-circuited her hearing. What? Marry me. If we are legally married, my father's primary avenue of attack evaporates. Lena becomes a legitimate heir to the Bianchi name, entitled to all its protections. You become my wife, under the full shelter of my legal and other resources. It is the one move he cannot counter. You're insane. I am not marrying you for Mafia protection. Then marry me because I love you. The words burst from him, raw and unchecked. Because every day for 4 years, the regret has eaten me alive. Because when I saw our daughter yesterday, it was the first time I felt hope since my uncle died. Because you are the only real thing that has ever happened to me, and I am begging you for a chance to prove I am not the coward who left you behind. Tears streamed down Maya's face freely now. You broke me, Silas. I know, and I will spend every remaining second of my life trying to earn your forgiveness. But right now, I am asking you to think of Lena. My father is relentless. He will dismantle your life piece by piece to get what he wants. He will use every tool at his disposal to separate you from our daughter. A marriage certificate is a shield. Let me give you that shield. I need time. You have 24 hours. After that, my father's lawyers will file an emergency injunction claiming you are an unstable, unfit parent and that, as the biological father with vast resources, I should be granted immediate custody while a full investigation is launched. Now you're threatening me? I am warning you of the battle that is already marching toward your door. He pulled a folded sheaf of papers from his inside jacket pocket. These are the drafts. I took them from my father's study this afternoon. He plans to have you served tomorrow evening. Maya took the papers with numb fingers. The legalese was dense, but phrases like parental alienation, financial instability, and best interests of the child jumped out at her. It was horrifyingly real. Oh, God, she choked out. Marry me, Maya. Not for romance. For survival. For her. Let me protect you both. After he left, Maya called Keisha in a blind panic. He proposed? The Mafia prince who ghosted you proposed marriage. It's not a proposal, Kesh. It's a tactical maneuver. His father is going to try to take Lena. Can he actually do that? I don't know. But he has money, power, and no conscience. If they want to bury me in legal fees or worse, they can. So, what are you going to do? Maya looked at the legal papers strewn across her kitchen table, then at the framed photo on her fridge of Lena, covered in cupcake batter, laughing with her whole being. A fierce, primal resolve solidified within her. I am going to protect my daughter, whatever it takes. The next morning, she called the number Silas had left. I'll do it, she said the moment he answered. But these are my conditions. This is a marriage in name and on paper only. Separate residences, or at the very least, separate bedrooms. No expectations of a relationship, of romance, of reconciliation. This is a legal alliance for the sole purpose of protecting Lena. Do you understand? There was a long pause. If that is what you require. Yes. I want ironclad legal guarantees drawn up by my lawyer. If this arrangement dissolves for any reason, I retain full, sole, and unchallenged custody of Lena. You will sign away any right to contest it. Agreed. And Silas? Your father stays away from me and from Lena. Completely. Not a phone call, not a letter, not a distant glance. If he so much as breathes in our direction, the deal is off and I will take her somewhere you will never find us. I will handle my father. You said that 4 years ago. His voice changed then, dropping into a lower, colder register that she'd never heard before. It was the voice of the man who commanded fear, not the boy who'd whispered love. 4 years ago, I was a grief-stricken nephew trying to hold a crumbling empire together. Now I am the empire. My father will comply, or he will find himself retired to a very distant, very quiet villa. Permanently. 3 days later, Maya stood in a stark private chamber at the county courthouse. She wore a simple cream-colored dress Keisha had insisted on buying. Silas stood beside her in a charcoal suit that screamed power and money. There were no guests, no flowers, no music. Just a judge, a board clerk, and the sterile smell of bureaucracy. I now pronounce you husband and wife. Silas reached for her hand. After a heartbeat's hesitation, she let him take it. His fingers were warm, his grip firm. For a fleeting, treacherous second, the memory of his touch from another life seared through her. "Thank you," he whispered as they walked out, his voice thick. "I know this isn't what you wanted." "Let's just focus on keeping Lena safe," she replied, pulling her hand gently away. They stepped out of the courthouse into a barrage of flashing lights and shouted questions. Paparazzi and reporters, tipped off, swarmed the steps. "Mr. Bianchi, is it true you secretly married?" "Silas, does your family approve? Is the child the reason for the hasty wedding?" Silas's bodyguards materialized, forming a human wall. He pulled Maya tight against his side, shielding her face with his arm as they pushed through to the idling SUV. "My father," he growled once the doors were shut. His parting shot, trying to turn this into a scandal. "You said you'd handle him." "I am. By making you public. By making Lena public. He can't make you disappear if you're on the front page of every tabloid. Now you're a recognized entity. Protected. Or I'm a target on a billboard." She shot back, her heart hammering. The car didn't head toward her apartment. It navigated to the city's most exclusive enclave, stopping before a soaring glass and steel tower with a discreet, armed entrance. "What is this?" "Our new home. It's secure." "Silas, I have a home. A life. My bakery." "You have a one-bedroom walk-up above a noisy bar in a neighborhood my enemies would consider easy territory. That was acceptable when you were anonymous. You are now Maya Bianchi. That makes you and Lena the single most valuable leverage anyone could use against me. I need you somewhere I can control the environment. Somewhere safe. We are not pawns in your gangland chess game." "That is not what I meant," he said, turning to her, his expression deadly serious. "Maya, there are men who would slit your throat to send me a message. Men who have killed for less than a perceived slight. This penthouse has state-of-the-art security, a private elevator, a panic room. Lena's new preschool is the most exclusive and secure in the city. I've already enrolled her. Your bakery can be managed by your assistant for now, or I will help you open a flagship location here. Whatever you need." "You've planned everything. I have thought of nothing else since I walked into your bakery." The penthouse was breathtaking, a minimalist landscape of glass, steel, and priceless art. But what stopped Maya in her tracks was the room down the hall. It had been transformed into a fairy tale haven. A canopy bed draped in gossamer, shelves overflowing with books and toys, a small art easel, and a wall mural of a magical forest. In the corner sat the same beloved, worn stuffed rabbit Lena slept with every night. How? I had a team work through the night. I wanted her to feel at home, to feel safe. Despite her fury, her resistance, a lump formed in Maya's throat. "She'll love it. Can I meet her? Not as a stranger in her mother's shop. As someone who wants to know her. If you'll allow it." Maya took a deep, fortifying breath. The fight was leaching out of her, replaced by a weary understanding of the new, dangerous game they were in. "Okay, but you follow my lead. You go slow." To her, "You are just a man named Silas." That evening, Keisha brought a wide-eyed Lena to the penthouse. The little girl gasped at the city lights twinkling like fallen stars below. "Mama, is this a spaceship?" "It's our new home for a while, baby." Silas emerged from the kitchen. Lena instantly hid behind Maya's legs. "Lena, this is Silas. He's a friend. He helped us with this new place." Silas did something Maya had never seen before. He got down on one knee, putting himself at Lena's eye level, his usually hard expression softening into something tentative, gentle. "Hello, Lena. Your mama tells me you're a fantastic artist. I have a brand new set of artist's pastels in your room. Would you like to see them?" Lena peeked out. "Real ones? Not the baby kind. The most real ones. Every color you can imagine." Lena looked up at Maya, who gave a small, encouraging nod. Slowly, the little girl approached Silas, placing her small hand tentatively in his large one. He led her to her new room, his voice a low, patient rumble as he showed her the art supplies, the books, the way the stars on her ceiling glowed in the dark. Watching them, seeing the careful, awestruck way Silas listened to Lena's excited chatter, Maya felt the first serious crack in the fortress around her heart. This was the shadow of what could have been, the ghost of a life stolen. Later, with Lena asleep in her princess bed, Maya found Silas on the vast terrace, a silhouette against the city's glow. "She's extraordinary," he said without turning. "She has your fire, your light. She asks a million questions a day. I want to hear every single one of them." He faced her, and in the moonlight, the raw regret on his face was undeniable. "I know I have no right to ask this, but will you tell me about when she was born? Her first word?" I need to know what I missed." Maya should have refused, should have fortified her walls. But the sight of him kneeling before their daughter, the undisguised hunger in his eyes now, she found herself nodding. They sat on a wide sofa, a careful foot of space between them, and Maya talked. She told him of the lonely, frightening pregnancy, of the long labor with only Keisha holding her hand, of the overwhelming, terrifying love that swamped her the first time she held Lena. She told him Lena's first word was more, spoken demandingly at a bowl of mashed bananas, and that her first steps were taken toward a stray kitten in the park. She spoke of sleepless nights, of worries about money, of the sheer joy of watching a personality bloom. Silas listened, utterly still, not interrupting. When she finished, his cheeks were wet. "I am so sorry," he whispered, the words ragged. "Maya, I am so sorry you had to be that strong alone." "I wasn't alone. I had Keisha. I had my church community. I had Lena. But you should have been there." Before the silence could stretch, his phone buzzed. He read the message, and his face hardened into the mask of the Mafia heir once more. "My father. He's convened a family council for tomorrow night. He's demanding I bring you." "Why?" "To humiliate you. To let the family rip you apart so you'll run and save me the trouble of choosing. It's an old-world tactic." "I'm not afraid of your father, Silas." He looked at her, a spark of something like pride in his eyes. "I know you're not, but my family, they're vipers. They will say things meant to break you." Maya lifted her chin. "Let them try." The following evening, she dressed with deliberate care in a sophisticated black dress, her hair styled in an elegant crown of braids. She would not look like a frightened girl. She would look like a queen. The Bianchi compound was a fortress of old money opulence and modern paranoia. As they entered the grand salon, dozens of eyes turned on them, cold, assessing, hostile. Vittorio sat at the head of a long table, the patriarch holding court. "So," he began in Italian, not deigning to use English, "you bring the outsider into our home." Silas replied in the same language, his voice like cracking ice. "This is my wife, Maya. You will address her with respect, in a language she understands." A portly uncle snorted. "Your wife? A paperwork stunt? And you expect us to accept this child as a Bianchi? Have you lost your mind, Silas? She is nothing like us." "Careful." Silas's voice dropped to a lethal whisper. "You are speaking of my daughter." Vittorio stood. "You have embarrassed this family. A secret marriage to a nobody. You spit on your legacy." "I married to protect my child from you, father," Silas shot back, not raising his voice, but the room chilled. "Don't pretend you weren't preparing to steal her." The room fell silent. Vittorio's eyes narrowed to slits. "That child has no place here. Her blood is muddied. She is a liability. Maya had heard enough. In clear, precise English, she spoke, her voice carrying across the hushed room. That child has a name. It is Lena. And whether you accept her or not, she is Silas's daughter. She exists. I exist. And we are not going anywhere. The defiance, the lack of fear, stunned the room for a moment. Vittorio's face mottled with rage. You dare speak in my house? Mother enough. Silas rose, pulling Maya to her feet beside him. I did not come here for your permission. I came to inform you. Maya is my wife. Lena is my heir. Anyone who cannot accept that is welcome to sever all ties with the family holdings immediately. The choice is yours. The room erupted. Angry Italian filled the air. Maya heard bastarda, straniera, disgrazia. Through it all, Silas held her hand tightly, his grip an anchor. We're leaving, he announced over the din. You know where to find me when you decide to act like a family instead of a pack of jackals. Vittorio's final words followed them out into the hall. This will destroy you, Silas. She will be the end of everything. In the car, Maya finally exhaled. Well, that was predictable, Silas finished, but he was looking at her with an intensity that made her pulse flutter. You were magnificent in there. I was terrified. You didn't show it. That's what matters. He took her hand again, turning it over in his. Maya, what I said in there, it wasn't just for them. You and Lena are my family now. My only family that matters. Silas, I know you don't believe me yet. I know I have a lifetime of amends to make. But I meant what I said at the courthouse. I have loved you every day for 4 years. Losing you was the price of my crown, and it has been a hollow, miserable reign. Love wasn't enough before. You're right. It wasn't. But love, plus action, plus the absolute refusal to ever fail you again, maybe that can be. He brought her hand to his lips, pressing a kiss to her knuckles that was more vow than caress. Let me show you, one day at a time. And despite herself, despite the pain and the history, Maya found she wanted to let him try.